How big is the market for my startup? Determining how big the market is for your startup should be easy. However, I see startup CEOs make the same mistakes calculating their TAM and SAM. And in the process, they kill their chance of getting an investment. That's what today's video is all about. In today's video, I'll share with you the right way to determine your market size and how you should present this information to investors. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. Today's video is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is the likely mistakes you are making determining the market size. Part 2 is the right way to determine the market size. And Part 3 is showing you the right way to explain your market size to your investors. So now let's get started with Part 1. Part 1, the mistakes you are making determining your market size. So let's start with the most likely mistake you'll make when it comes to sizing your market, which is mistake number 1. Mistake number 1, you're using the wrong numbers. I would say that 70% of the pitches that I see use the wrong market numbers. For example, I was reviewing a pitch for a company focused on the replacement market for airplane parts. On the market slide, the CEO put the total available market at $1.6 trillion. That would be a fantastic number if it were true. However, the CEO was confusing the total aviation market with the total available market for airplane replacement parts. Here's the thing. You can't just put down a large number and expect investors not to instantly recognize the number is wrong. You'll instantly lose credibility when you do this. This moves us to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2, you don't understand what TAM and SAM really mean. TAM and SAM are actually really easy to understand, but for whatever reason, most people have never been given the proper definitions. So here they are. TAM, which stands for Total Available Market, means the size of the market, assuming your startup will get if they had 100% market share with all the products and services you envision doing over the life of the company. In other words, your TAM represents your company's vision. Your SAM, or served available market, represents the here and now. If you had 100% market share with the products and services you have today, or will have when your company launches, how big is that market? You have to reduce your market size based on the marketing channels you have available and by the products and services you have available. By definition, your SAM will be a subset of your TAM. Now let's move to mistake number 3 on our list. Mistake number 3. You think you can win if you get 1% of the market. The classic mistake is combining an unrealistically large TAM with the old all we need to get is 1% of the market and we'll be huge. It never works that way. Again, don't delude yourself for your own sake. You'll fail even if you raise money, but you likely won't raise money because the 1% line is a red flag to investors because they realize that you need to dominate a niche in order to be successful. Now, let's move to part 2. Part 2, the right way to determine your market size. And let's start with step 1. Step number 1, use TAM and SAM correctly. TAM is your vision. It is the big idea. Your SAM is where you're starting. In my case, my startup was focused on building analog integrated circuits for a subsegment of the market that we estimated to be worth $2 billion. However, our vision was to compete in the whole analog IC market. The size of that market at the time was $60 billion. That's what you want to do for your market as well. However, as I look back, we got a little wrong, which I'll explain in step number 2. Step number 2. Step 2. Use the right numbers. There were 2 mistakes we made, and they're instructive for you. Or being honest, that I made actually. For our SAM, I didn't take into account the limitations of the marketing channels we had available to us when we were starting. If I had, then our SAM would have been cut by over 50% from $2 billion to $1 billion. The second mistake I made was we weren't going to truly compete in the whole analog IC market, but the high performance segment of the market, that's where we were focused over time. That would have cut our TAM by at least $20 billion. I don't think either of these mistakes were killers in our case, but why make needless mistakes, which leads to step number 3. Step 3, you have to be significant. This is especially important when we're just starting out. Significance means you have a greater than 10% share of the market, ideally 20%. So if that means you are going after a smaller niche, then so be it. Remember, it is hard to get your revenue to over $1 million per year. So it's okay to have a smaller SAM. It's also better strategically to go after a smaller, less visible market because there will be less competition. And less competition means that your chances of success go way up. 2 of the most successful companies I am working with followed this strategy to a T. And now they are both worth more than $1 billion. Let's move to part 3 on our list. Part 3. The right way to explain your market size to investors. We'll put everything together to create a great market slide. And let's start with step number 1. Step 1, keep it simple. White space is your friend when you're pitching because it makes it easier for investors to understand what you're doing. So don't put down all the math behind your numbers on your market slide. You can put that in your backup slides, just in case an investor asks. You literally just need 2 things on your market slide. The served market that you are addressing today and the size of the total available market that you will be addressing over the life of your company. That's it. Now, speaking of TAM and SAM, let's move to step 2. Step 2, make sure to use a bottoms-up approach. I probably should have put this in part 2, but you want to use a bottoms-up approach in addition to whatever market data you can find. A bottoms-up approach works like this. Let's say there are 1 million users for your product, and each user will pay $1,000 per year to use your product. Then the market size is 1 million times 1,000 or $1 billion per year. Then you can compare this number with a tops-down approach based on market research. You're on the right track if the numbers are reasonably close. Now, let's move to step 3. Step 3. Don't worry about showing your SAM. Now, you might have noticed that I haven't said a word about SAM. I know, I'm biased, but I hate it when I see a market slide with your SAM on it. In fact, every time I see SAM, I have to look it up, which I just did again. SAM supposedly means serviceable addressable market. It's a mouthful. Which is the portion of the TAM you can reasonably get. What on earth does this actually mean? That's why I hate showing SAM. It's a meaningless number. And we want to keep it simple. So just show your TAM and SAM, please. That's all you need to do. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. The market numbers are for your benefit, not the investors. Investors are going to do their own research on how big they believe the market is for your product or service. You want to determine for your benefit how big the market is for what you're selling. The way I see it, you're blind if you don't know your numbers. And the size of the market is one of the numbers you should know as CEO. Now, I have 3 more things for you today. First, if you want to work with me on your startup, then just scan this QR code. Second, you can use my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Scan the QR code to get yours for free. Third, join my free group of startup CEOs, Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focused on growing their companies and raising funding for their companies. Scan the QR code to join. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.